How the US dollar controls the world economy. There's one currency that can lift or crash an entire economy. One invisible force that dominates the world without firing a single shot. This is the US dollar. A quick history. In 1944, after World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement made the US dollar the world's official reserve currency. Global currencies were tied to the dollar, and the dollar was backed by gold. But in 1971, the US dropped the gold standard, and still, the world kept trusting the dollar. Why? Because oil, trade, and global finance continued to operate in US dollars. The rise of petrodollars. In the 1970s, the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and other oil-producing nations. All oil must be sold in US dollars. This gave birth to the petrodollar system. Even today, if a country wants oil, it needs dollars first, keeping global demand for the dollar alive and strong. The dollar's power. Today, over 60% of global foreign reserves are held in dollars. Nearly 80% of global trade is conducted in dollars. Institutions like the IMF, World Bank, and global sanctions all run on the dollar. If the US wants to block a country's financial access, it simply cuts them off from the SWIFT system, and they're frozen out of the global economy. Global impact. When the US Federal Reserve raises interest rates, the whole world feels it. Loans become more expensive for developing nations. Inflation increases globally. Investment flows back to the US. The world is wired into the dollar, but the US acts only in its own economic interest. Are there alternatives? BRICS nations are trying to launch a new shared currency. China is pushing the yuan in global trade. Cryptocurrencies are also gaining traction. But for now, there's still one undisputed king of money, the US dollar. As long as the world chases the dollar, the power stays in one country. And that's the truth we break down, right here on Dollar Decode. But that was just the beginning. The real power play of the dollar was yet to unfold in 1970, for a secret deal changed the global economy forever. The United States approached Saudi Arabia with an offer: we will protect your oil fields, in return sell your oil only in US dollars. This was the birth of the petrodollar agreement, and with it the dollar became the king of global trade. Now every country that needed oil also needed dollars. Whether you were in Japan, Brazil, or Turkey, you first had to get dollars to buy oil. But then some countries started to resist. Iraq, Libya, Iran. They dared to say, we will sell oil in euros, gold, or our own currency. And one by one chaos followed. Regime changes, wars, sanctions. Coincidence or control? The petrodollar was never just about money. It was about global dominance. Now here is the deeper twist. Institutions like the IMF and World Bank stepped in, offering loans to struggling nations, but those loans, they came with strings attached. Use the dollar, follow our terms, obey our policies. In reality, it was a modern form of economic control, rising in the shadows. In the next episode of Dollar Decode, we uncover how BRICS is challenging this empire, and whether the era of dollar supremacy is nearing its end. This is not just economics. This is war without bullets. This is Dollar Decode.